This isn't about surviving the zombie apocalypse. What this is about is the ability to walk out in your backyard and pick some produce, which during World War II, 42% of the produce grown and eaten in this country was actually grown in backyards. They called them victory gardens. Today, less than 1%. Everyone can have a garden in their backyard, and I strongly encourage it, not just for preparation, but just to know where your food comes from. I guarantee you probably 90% of the produce that's in the store right now didn't come from the United States. It came from somewhere else. It's just nice to be able to come out and pick whatever you want. I'm out here thinning some cucumber plants, but I already got some tomatoes picked. Green peppers, they'll be nice. Zucchinis, yellow zucchinis. Oh, I got some beautiful cucumbers, some of my first cucumbers. Got some more cucumbers. Today I'll be planting corn, but I'm gonna give you a tour of this garden and show you you really don't need much space. I keep telling people, a small garden will produce hundreds of pounds of produce. It's just nice, even if you're not doing this out of being prepared and just sort of a safety feeling. It's just nice to be able to walk out and just pick fresh produce. It's amazing. So anyways, hop on the corn planter. We'll plant some corn up here. Mr. Rooster's over there talking. We give away all of our produce. We give away all of our eggs, whatever we don't eat. I get probably 25, 30 eggs a day. I get hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of pounds of produce out of these gardens and these fields. We give it all away. So here we go. So I'm gonna give you a tour of this garden real quick. I'll walk you around and show you, but we have actually reduced the size of our garden. It was actually too big. The first year, I think we produced like 3,000 pounds of produce. The second year, we were down to 2,000 pounds. We were giving away squash and all kinds of stuff to the goats. We give away our produce to all our neighbors, friends, family. Our eggs, we give away, whatever we don't eat. It doesn't take much to produce a lot of produce. And you don't have to do anything. You don't have to spend a bunch of money on raised beds. You can literally go out to your backyard, just take a section of your backyard, put down some super compost. We use Dirt Booster Plus to make our super compost. I'm getting ready to show you here in the next video how we make that. We don't use fertilizers, that's all we use. Dirt Booster Plus, we put it in our soil, we till it, then we put compost with Dirt Booster Plus. Get some Dirt Booster Plus. You can watch my videos, go to dirtboosterplus.com. There's videos up there showing you how you make it. Anyways, but you just basically rent a rototiller for a day and just do a couple strips. I mean, look at this strip right here. This strip is maybe what, 30 feet long in here, and this will produce probably 300 zucchinis. And if you think I'm kidding, we've already picked 50 2 days ago, and I mean, look at this. Every one of these is just loaded with zucchinis. Every single plant. Now I let some of them get big because we feed them to the chickens, but I'll show you the field over here. We've got more zucchini plants out there, more tomatoes. We've got tomatoes, we've got green peppers, we've got these tomato plants are beautiful. These are sort of stunted. I don't know why. One of the reasons why is I was away for 3 weeks. Lizzie and her mom were actually out here taking care of the garden and the chickens for me, and so I wasn't applying Dirt Booster Plus compost to these, and I think that's why they're a little bit stunted. So tomorrow John and Jeff are coming out. We're going to make a huge pile of compost and fire that thing up, and we're going to top dress these. Cucumbers, I just picked my first cucumbers. These grow on trellises. The trellises are hog fencing from Tractor Supply on T-post. I don't even take them down. I leave them up all year. The cucumbers grow up here and you can pick them. Unfortunately, we're in a zone where we get a lot of heat and humidity. Cucumbers have a tendency to disease out. So I'll actually plant a second wave, probably on that other garden that I'm getting ready to show you over here too. Some more backup tomato plants over here. I'm only planting this year what people really want. People want tomatoes, cucumbers, peppers, and zucchinis. So that's what I'm doing. So let me take you out to the field and I'll show you what we're doing in the field, because I'm going to take you up. And yesterday I did my corn planting. For the first year, we plant these fields for the deer. So we plant, it's called a dent corn or field corn, which is kind of a grain corn. It's high in starch. It's not really good to eat. So this year, I actually bought some sweet ambrosia hybrid corn. 25 pounds is almost $600. So it's crazy. It's crazy how expensive that stuff is. So I've got 3 fields, 1, 2, and 3. Now, the only thing that's keeping us alive during this drought, this in our area 126-year record drought, is the fact that I have a pond, and I pump pond water up here 600 feet to here, and then another 200 feet to all these fields, and I have big irrigation heads. I have the same system going into the garden. Every morning while I was gone, she ran it for 30 minutes. It blasts and soaks this garden, and then it ran an hour on this field too. That's the only thing that has kept us alive. Let me tell you what I'm doing here. Okay, I've got some butternut squash over here. I've got a fence with tomatoes. This is just kind of a fun experiment. I bought bulk tomato seeds and I planted like 1,000 tomato seeds. I don't know if they're gonna take or not, but they are coming up. Look at them. I don't know, I'm gonna have to, we don't do any fertilizing on any of our gardens, but I'm not putting compost out here or Dirt Booster Plus. We're just planting into the soil. We have great biodiversity and we are a no-till in our fields. I mean, you can look at this. I mean, there's clover, brassica, grasses, weeds, old corn. So biodiversity is great out here. We get great water infiltration rates because of this, because we keep roots in the ground all the time. But this is, we came out here and we planted zucchini in 4 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I have got, I don't know what, 50 zucchini plants out here. This is going to be interesting. So let me tell you how I do my corn. I've got orange flags. I don't think if you can see them there. I've got some over there too. I've got orange flags out here. I'd stick an orange flag in the ground, take 3 big paces, about 9 feet, stick another orange flag. And then what I'm doing, wherever I have an orange flag, I consider that a corn row. So in that corn row, you can probably see them here, orange, orange, orange. I'll run back and forth 3 times with my corn planter. Now it's a slit seeder. It cuts through all this green and it plants. I'll show you here in a minute. And I do it 3 times. So I have heavy corn, green space, heavy corn, green space, heavy corn. On this field and all these fields up here, I did the same thing. So the deer can actually come in between these rows and graze on the green. I can cut it with my toe behind cutter. It's just a wonderful system. It's a symbiotic relationship. I've got video. I'm gonna put up a video. I've got a daytime and I've got nighttime video of deer right over here actually coming up here. It's unreal the number of deer that come through here. They come from 1,000 acres over here, 1,000 acres back over here, and they come to my property and eat. Corn planting day. I've got my modified John Deere Strip Seeder. I think I want to set those there. I think that'll be good. So basically what happens is you have this that cuts open. This cuts open a line in the dirt. This wheel here. This wheel follows that line, and then the seed falls into here and turns, and it actually feeds into the actual slit. And this is your closer. Those wheels actually close, which, to be honest, in clay saturated soil like this, closing it is really not that important. I'm more concerned about making sure I get a good 1.5 inches, maybe 1.5 inches deep would be fine. This year I'm going to do 2 plantings, I think. I bit the bullet. I've never bought sweet ambrosia hybrid corn, which is the wonderful corn that you eat that's very sweet. We always plant for the wildlife. Dent corn, it's called. Very starchy. It's not good unless you eat it really, really small. So, but this is what everyone likes to eat. So I'm going to plant some of this, and then I'm going to order some more dent field corn as well too. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to plant, you can see, we pump pond water irrigation 700 feet up to this field, 850 feet up to that field. And I have 2 irrigation heads here, so I can irrigate this corn. Well, you can see the orange flags. They're about roughly 8 feet apart, 8 or 9 feet apart. And what I'll do is I'm gonna strip corn, strip corn, strip corn, strip corn. And in here, we leave this planted in green. So we'll plant clover, we already do, clover, chicory, radish, turnip, all kinds of stuff for the deer. So the deer can actually make their way in here and they'll graze in these lanes. And then in about 3 months, we'll actually have standing corn out here too. So Anyways, we had another rain last night. The field is not muddy, but it's very saturated, which is exactly what I want. So you can see, you really don't see a slit here. See how you don't see a slit until you come up here. And here's where you see a slit. And then inside here, you see a piece of corn in there. There's a piece of corn there. There's a piece of corn there. Piece of corn there. And then this wheel actually closes it. So I'm actually kind of pleased with the way it's running right now. Man, it is humid out here. Thank goodness it's cloudy. If that sun was out, I'd be dropping dead. I actually did a triple stripe. I had more corn than I thought, which is nice. I'm actually going to bag it up and I'm going to vacuum seal it with some oxygen packs, and I'm going to save it for next year. Hopefully, I'll probably lose 10 to 20% of the germination on it, but as expensive as this is, and if this happens to fail, I do have a backup. So what happens, you know, if something goes wrong? But I do have irrigation on all these fields. So let's see. So 3 times, I ran over 3 times each one of these rows, leaving about an 8-foot space in between each one of these rows so we can cut it and manage it for the deer. Woo, John's down there cutting. And I'm hot and tired. I need to go wash off this damn tractor now. And I need to make some compost. I might also go ahead and wash off this corn feeder, put it away, and I got to work on the compost pile for the vegetable garden. So I'm actually, house and pond are over here, and I'm back here. We let this grow up thick for deer cover, but look at this. Look at all these blackberries. Look at them. They are just packed in here. Absolutely packed in here. Man, that is crazy. Look at them all. Just gotta watch out for snakes. These things are just amazing. Now that we got rain, they're all starting to ripen up. Alright, so the planting is all done and I am up here weed eating, and what I'm doing is, let me show you. By the way, I want to stress again, you don't have to have a large acre property to do this. You can have 1/8 of an acre, 1/4 of an acre, go to your backyard and take a section of that backyard, literally put some compost and some good soil, just till it in and plant, and you will have vegetables all through the spring, summer, and fall if you live in the southeast. And it's a wonderful feeling to be able to go out and pick zucchinis, tomatoes, peppers, cucumbers, whatever you want. Squash is usually too big, by the way. I would not recommend planting squash because it just overtakes your garden. But those type of things, if you like green beans, plant green beans. You can literally go out and pick your dinner almost every night fresh from your garden. It's incredible. So anyways, in our little field experiment out here, these 2 rows are butternut squash, but this tomato row, what I'm having to do, I've got weeds and I've got some volunteer corn from last year that's popping up. So I'm just basically just coming on here because east is this way and south is this way. And I'm taking that down so the sunlight doesn't get blocked. But I got a feeling maybe I'll just put some liquid fish fertilizer or something like that down on here, something with a little bit of nitrogen just to kick these tomato plants up. I think they'll do okay just because we have irrigation. And zucchini plants, I think they'll do great. We'll see how much the deer eat. But anyways, I really, really strongly suggest that you guys do this. Make up a garden, start it small, and then just grow with it every year. Get the kids involved. If you have kids, get the kids involved. If you're gonna work it during the summertime, like right now, you need to wake up early. There's no sleeping in. You need to get out there early before this heat and humidity hits. Don't overwater. Just use natural products and you'll do fine. I think that's about it, guys. Until the next video. I got a ton of videos coming out. I just got to find time to do it with all these projects going on and gardens and everything else. Give it a thumbs up, and I'll see you in a day or two. God.